Hello.
A beautiful, beautiful morning it is today.
You look
Hi,
so
Makini.
refreshed, Suzana.
Well, it must be just all the fun we're having with our book launch because I've had about 3 hours sleep last night. We had our beautiful interview and podcast with Danielle Amos in her Prosperity Project podcast. So that's going to be out soon, talking about renewing your mind, preparing for our clients. It's been a beautifully, beautifully busy week.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. The
Yes,
interviews and the excitement of the launch, it's been great.
it's been amazing. It's good to be with you again, Makini.
Likewise, love
So
co-creating with you.
absolutely, it's just a blessing. It's just a blessing. So welcome to everybody. If you are watching, do put a message in the comments below. This is going to be a short live from us. Just some updates about our book, Renewing Your Mind. Thank you, everybody. We are multiple bestsellers at the moment because of you. Thank you for your feedback, by the way. We've received quite a number of reviews. So many of you have reached out to us, sharing how this book has impacted your life, and we are so honoured and so blessed that we are able to serve in this way. So thank you to each and every one of you. So today we have something special for you. You may be aware, you might not be aware, that we have some beautiful prizes. The sponsors of Renewing Your Mind have gifted some prizes for you, and we will have 3 winners. So Makini, did you want to go through the prizes and then we can talk about everything else that's happening?
Yes, absolutely. So, like Susanna said, there's 3 winners. No purchases necessary in order to enter. I just added the link in the comments. So did Susanna. So the giveaway includes a digital copy of Renewing Your Mind, so you can read it on any ebook reader. You'll get a coaching session with Susanna and myself. You'll get a gift certificate to Hand and Stone massage and facial spa. So you can go, and whether you want to get a massage or a facial. And it also includes skincare products from Clarity RX. And seeing as our book is a guide to transforming your world from chaos to clarity, it's only fitting. So we've got some amazing sponsors that we are super thankful for, that have allowed us to share and gift to 3 lucky winners a prize pack which values at over $1,000.
Wow. So make sure that you click that link so that you go in the draw. And for those of you that have purchased our book, we have our masterclass coming up on Monday, 7th of November. Let's see if I can get this right. I've tried it about 1,000 times. So hopefully by this time I've got it. So Monday, 7th of November, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, Tuesday, 8th of November, 11 a.m. Australian Daylight Savings Time. That's Melbourne, Sydney time. We will be running the Renewing Your Mind Masterclass. So as most of you know, this book has come from the initial Renewing Your Mind Masterclass. So many people were reaching out to us just talking about the transformation they had from our masterclass. So we put it in words. So if you're ready to go deeper, if you're ready to really, really make some changes in your life, please do join us Monday, 7th of November, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tuesday, 8th of November, 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. That's Melbourne, Sydney time. So we thought we'd continue to read. So during our book launch earlier this week, we both opened up to chapter 3 of Renewing Your Mind, and chapter 3 is Your Deeper Purpose. So we thought we would read with you. If you've got your Renewing Your Mind book with you, open up to page 37. It's always nicer when you're reading with someone out loud. If you haven't, just close your eyes and tune in, because the two or three pages that we're about to read are very, very profound and very powerful. So you want to just close your eyes and allow it to sink in. That sometimes we don't understand things with our mind, with our physical bodies. It's an experience. You start to understand the truth of who you are through an experience. So I invite you to open up to having an experience with Makini and I today. Okay.
Do it.
Let's do it. So, page 37. Who do you think you are? The truth of you. Let us ask you a question. Who do you think you are? You see, whenever asked this question or when contemplated, it is common to think that you're your name, age, and personality. For example, I'm from a European background, living in Australia, born in Australia. But that's not what we're trying to insinuate. I'm intelligent, I'm not intelligent, I'm in my 40s, I'm funny, I'm not funny, I'm this and I am that. However, most of those are labels we've put on ourselves based upon experiences or interpretations of what we have experienced. We accept ideas and titles about who we are from society, family, and childhood experiences. So you may have grown up in a European migrant family where life was hard. Perhaps you felt that you had to study and follow a female role model behavior. Or you may have had trauma in your life. Maybe there was violence in your family growing up. Perhaps you grew up in a low-income family. So you subconsciously put a label on yourself that you can only get so far or that you can't have abundance. Perhaps there was an experience at school. You may have had a bad day and failed a test even though you were a child. And that was not a pleasant experience for you. So the teacher and your friends at school labeled you as not intelligent. Possibly you said a joke and someone laughed, which made you label your personality as funny. Things happen, and then we create a label we follow and believe in for the rest of our lives. So you may have failed a test when you were a child. Even though your dream was to go to university and study and to become something big, you felt that you were not good enough based on the ideas you accepted as your truth. Let us ask you a question. What if we were able to wipe all of those labels away? And what if you were able to choose to be whomever you wanted to be and have whatever you wanted to have? What if inside you, you had infinite potential? Think about that. What's the definition of infinite? Don't just think about this with your head. Open up. Open up your body, heart, and soul to receiving. Infinite means that it continues forever and ever and ever and ever. There's no end to infinite, right? So what if this were true?
Wow. All right. Let me pick up where you left off. You see, the truth is that your spiritual DNA is perfect. Full stop. As our dear mentor, Bob Proctor, would say, you have genius locked up inside you. You may feel it already on a deeper level. However, you're stuck with the thinking and programming that has always been the same processing system you have had for years and most of your life. Therefore, you choose to stay with the ideas of who you think you are rather than opening up to new ideas and potential and possibly of who you could be. Whatever you experience as a child or growing up, whatever negative self-concept, idea, or label you are convinced is you, it is not. So what if you accepted the idea that you have a well of infinite potential via the tiny seed planted inside you? What would accepting your truth about infinite potential change for you? how would your life be different? How would you be feeling about yourself right now? What would you be doing differently? Do you see? So let's back that up. It is not just a belief, it is knowing. You know why? It's because we have used this information to change our lives. We've tapped into our inner potential to change our lives, and we can help you change yours too. But not only that, there is scientific evidence that this is true. It might be the first time that you've heard what we're about to share with you, or you may have heard it many times, but have not yet allowed it to sink in. No matter how many times you have or have not heard this, we invite you to open up your mind, body, and heart to receive the truth about yourself. And if it goes over your head, that's okay. Keep reading and open up to what we're about to share with you. Allow it to sink in. And once you've deeply accepted this truth, your life will pivot and change. According to Dr. Joe Dispenza, in his book, You Are the Placebo, research in quantum physics studied the tiniest particles and how they interact to create the world we live in. It shows that when the tiniest part of the atom, the nucleus, was researched, the closer they looked, the less distinct the atom became until they could not see it at all. From all of these studies, atoms appear to be 99.9999999% space. When they looked deeper into the space, they found that it was not empty at all. It was filled with energy. Moreover, it was filled with a broad range of frequencies that make up an invisible, interconnected information field. Dr. Joe Dispenza continues to explain that if every atom is 99.9999999% energy or information, then everything that we know to exist in the universe is really just energy and information. No matter how solid or condensed the object, this energy or information is actual intelligence. It is related to the same intelligence that is omnipresent, omnipotent, and that has created everything that exists in the world and the entire universe. Some like to refer to this intelligence as God, source intelligence. That is a fascinating fact. But what does this mean about you?
Wow. Wow. So, what does this mean about you? I hope that you were able to really, really absorb those words, because we tend to label ourselves as our name, our body, our past experience, or our idea of what we thought. So there's an example in there of trauma, or failing a test when you were a child and then thinking that you're not intelligent just because you failed a test, just because you had a bad day as a child. So for the rest of your life, you label yourself as not intelligent. But inside you, you have infinite potential. Your potential goes on forever and ever and ever, and you are more God energy than what you are physical. Wow. Wow. I'll just unmute you. You were you're
Sorry. I had this thought as we were reading, and this happens to me often, where when you create something, and I know for you and I, because when we're in alignment, sometimes we get these visions and we create these things, whether it be content or whatever it is. But then if you go to look back at it later and you're like, wow, I wrote that or I did that, like it's almost like this out of body experience.
Sorry, my microphone was off. I'm like, who wrote this book? I had to meet him. Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, one thing is like, yes, we wrote it. The book was transcribed from the workshop that we did together. And I had the same experience when I've had people share things with me from my previous books. And I'm like, wow, that was deep. I wrote that. But it was, in that moment, the alignment that I was in that moment, it's like, God downloaded into me what I needed to share, the message that
Yeah.
needed to go out there. And then
Yes.
sometimes you hear it back and you're like, oh, wow, I do say some smart stuff sometimes. But
Yeah.
but what we were talking about labels, I had a conversation with a woman earlier today that I was interviewing on my podcast, and she said something about herself being, I think she said she is a rambler. And I said to her, you've given yourself that title, because someone had once said that to you. Everything you just said to me made complete sense. You weren't rambling, but you've held on to this title that you are a rambler. I said, everything that you
Mm,
said, I totally aligned with. Everything that you said totally resonated with me. I didn't feel there was
mm,
any rambling in there. So because we're
mm,
vibrating on the same frequency, because I'm feeling you, because spirit to spirit, we're connecting.
mm.
You
Yeah.
don't come across as rambling to me, but someone
No,
who may not resonate with you right now may see that as rambling, but you've held on to that title.
that's right. That's right. And when you're holding on to a title, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to tap into your infinite possibilities, but also you're vibrating on that frequency, aren't you? So what's coming back to you is what you're vibrating on. But I love what you said earlier, and it reminded me, Makini, of what you said last night or this morning for you. It was almost midnight for me last night when we finished up at the podcast with Danielle Amos. And at the end, you said, and for anyone watching, the podcast was about collaboration versus competition. We can collaborate rather than compete. And at the very end, Makini, you said something. You said, well, nothing we do is actually on our own. We're collaborating anyway. And you mentioned, whatever you're doing, like we need, this computer, which was designed by Mac, by Apple, Zoom or StreamYard, which is, someone else's idea. But also what occurred to me was, we get these downloads, and when, as we're reading this, yes, sure, it is our work and it's creativity from the heart, but nothing is on our own. It is us and spirit working through us. It's not necessarily the human that has created this, but it's a work of three. You, I, our souls together, and our spirit working through us. So I love what we've just read. And we do this work, and for anyone watching, that's what it is. So important. Repetition, repetition, repetition. When you get your copy of Renewing Your Mind, don't just read it once. Study a chapter, read it once, go back to a chapter that challenges you or that resonates with you, and study it for a month. That's what Bob Proctor used to do, and I understand why. Because even though we live this material, we've changed our life through this material, you've just seen the experience of us reading our own work, and we're like, wow. Okay, so even we need that daily reminder. So read it, study it, get your highlighter out, get your pen or pencils out, write notes. Makini, I think we need to design a workbook after this once we have a break.
Yes.
Really well with this. Yeah.
Agreed. Definitely agreed. Repetition is key. You and I have learned that through everything that we study about the importance of reprogramming our mind through repetition. And sometimes, whether it be something that we're listening to or reading, like, you may listen to a podcast, or you could be listening to an audiobook, but your brain, you're tuning in and out. You're having other thoughts. You may, tune out for a second and tune back in. So you've missed something. But when you listen to that on repeat, the next time you listen to it, you may pick up something you didn't catch the last time. Or sometimes, based on the vibration, the frequency that you're on in that moment when you're listening to it, you may not hear things. It may not resonate with you deeply in that moment. But through the repetition of it, you pick it up and you pick up different pieces. And every time you listen or read, you pick up something new or you pick up something deeper. And like you said, even though this is content that we created, I find going back and rereading our work and going back and rereading our post, our content, anything like that, there's always that reminder or something that we need in that moment to take from it.
Yes, absolutely, 100%, 100%. And it also shows, so we live on 3 different planes. We are physical, okay, and less than 1%, as we've just read out in that chapter, less than 1% of us is physical. I just find that. So we are physical, we're intellectual, and we're spiritual. And the spiritual, the energetic part of us is perfect. However, if you don't feed your soul, your mind, something every single day, it is so easy for the physical to come in. It's so easy for those paradigms, those deep subconscious paradigms, and also the ego. Now, for me, ego is not a dirty word. We all have ego. If we're trying to say, we don't have ego, then that's your ego. And we do need ego, but anything anything that is out of balance is not good for us.
Yes.
So I think even 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes in the morning. If you don't have, everyone has 5 minutes. I'm sorry, you can stop for 5 minutes, get up earlier, 5 minutes, and just read, connect, as a reminder of who you are. I mean, can you imagine everybody that's watching this? I'm talking to you. Can you imagine how your life would change if every morning, every single morning, for the rest of your life, you wake up 5-10 minutes earlier and just be reminded of the truth of who you are, of your potential, and you get into a state where spirit is leading rather than ego, rather than your past programming. Because the key is your past programming is based on an idea of the past. It's got nothing to do with you where you are right now, okay? Once you can get present and you tap in to that essence, the core of you, that God energy, that universal energy, that's where infinite possibilities exist. But if you keep basing your decisions on past programming, you're going to keep getting the past. And you know what? Life is going by. Life is going by. I have a big birthday coming up at the end of the year. It's not 21. Just to let you know. It's not my 21st birthday, but it's a big one. and it comes so quick. Like I remember as a child looking at people my age, thinking, oh my God, they are old. And that's probably how my nieces and nephews and godchildren look at me. Oh my God, she's old. But that's okay. But the point of all of this is, it is going. Folks, it's going. And we have a gift of today. We have a gift of this present moment. You are the gift. You are the gift. And this life is a gift to you. So what if you woke up 5-10 minutes earlier every single day? You committed to that, just like brushing your teeth. How would your life change? How would the rest of your life unfold? And if I may, Makini finished with reading. That is a fascinating fact, that you are infinite potential. Okay, you are 99.999999999% God energy. That's you. That's the truth of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
What does this mean about you? What are you going to do with it?
Powerful information.
Absolutely.
We need to utilize that information. I know that there's a huge gap between what we know and what we actually do. So I want those of you that are reading this, don't just read it and put it down. Take action in your life. Yes. Take action, because that's where the results come from.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's all we have for you today. Just a short one, because we've been on so frequently. We cannot wait to see you on Monday, 7th November, 7 p.m. if you're in Toronto or the US, so Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. And that is Tuesday, 8th of November, 11 a.m. Melbourne, Sydney time. So if you've purchased the book, just send us your receipt and you will receive an invitation by email this weekend with the Zoom link. It is only for people that have purchased the book. You are going to love the Renewing Your Mind workshop. And if you haven't purchased the book, what in the world are you waiting for? You don't want to miss out on this workshop.
I agree.
So come and join us. We'll put the link in the comments, and also don't forget our wonderful prizes too.
Yes. I'm putting it in the comments right now. There you go.
There you go. It's in the comments right now. Have an absolutely blessed weekend, and we look forward to seeing you in the Renewing Your Mind Masterclass. Thank you so much. Remember, you have infinite potential inside you. Bye-bye.